welcome back to the Ponchak Preview. Today is day 23 of our NTI learning. You guys have been working really hard on your pre-write of your personal narrative, and today we're going to start the planning of our personal narrative. This is going to give you an idea of what to focus on as you're writing your personal narrative. So, you guys have this page right here, and this is what you're going to be working on. The question says, I'm going to write my personal narrative about. I think this will be a good topic because the lesson I learned was, here are 3 ways I could begin my personal narrative. This is what we're going to be focusing on next week, I think, is when we're starting it. Our introduction, this is really what we're going to use. Here are some details that I could use to make the story more realistic. So this would be your body part. I could use dialogue. So basically this is the part, because your narrative does have to have dialogue. So this would be who you're talking to. And then here are 2 ways that I could end my personal narrative. This is going to be the conclusion. Oftentimes these work together. If you start with something, you can end with it. Just like when you eat a burger, you want the top and the bottom buns to match so that it flows. Okay, so today on day 23, you guys, here's my example that I have done when I've done running my marathon. So obviously I'm going to write my narrative about running my first marathon. The reason why I think it's a good topic, it was a struggle that I had to go through. I had to overcome it. I had to fight through it. So a lot of times things that we struggle with, that we have to overcome, those are great topics for personal narrative. Lessons I learned is don't give up. You're stronger than you think. Perseverance. Those are some things that I learned during during the marathon. 3 ways I could begin it. Here's 3 different ways. Number 1 was short story describing me at the starting line, which if you've already read it, that's what I did. Or maybe you could start with facts about marathons. Or it could be details about me training. I picked number 1, and I started with what I was like at the starting line. Here's some details that you could do to make the story more realistic. Number 1, I talked about my knee pain. Number 2, I talked about me being out of breath. My heart was beating fast because I was nervous. I talked about how I was scared, that I was proud when I saw my kids, that I was mentally exhausted. I could talk about meeting Johnny Freedom and the signs, things like that make it come to life for everybody else. Like, what are your memories? What are the big things that you remember? Put those there. Then the next one is I could use dialogue in this situation. Like my conversations with my running partners, my conversation when I saw my husband and the kids, and then what I included in mine was also the conversations with myself. A lot of times personal narratives, you have thoughts and you have a lot of things that you're going through. Include those. Those are great examples of dialogue. And then the last one here is 2 ways that I could end my personal narrative. So you could either end with a quote, or you could end with a description of how you were feeling. Okay? And so that's kind of what I did. Now I want you guys to go forward, use what you did yesterday, and start planning out your personal narrative. I'll see you guys at Zoom, and we'll work through this together.